What's going on, everybody? Hope everybody's doing well. So for today's video, a highly anticipated one, we're gonna learn how to solo on bongo. Yeah, it's about to get kind of crazy. Y'all already know what day it is. It's Tutorial Thursdays. Welcome to Percussion Life. My name is Eric Perez. If you're new to the channel, thank you for stopping by. And if you haven't already, please hit that like, subscribe, and notification button just so you can find out whenever I upload into all my day ones. Thank you so much for all your patience. I know I've owed you guys this video for a very long time. So a very long time, but the time has come. The time has come. All right, let's break this down. First thing, I am not a pure bongocero because when I look at a lot of percussionists that their main focus on bongos is just it's unbelievable how their technique is, how they approach the instrument. I'm just trying to give you just a couple of tips to help you develop in your bongo soloing, or if you're trying to dabble, if you're a conga player trying to dabble on the bongo, how I would approach that, especially me where my primary instrument are the conga. So before watching this video, I would definitely suggest that you watch a video on how to solo on congas that I made. I'll try to link that up here. The first half of the video is really kind of giving some advice on how you should just stay away from some nice advice, things that you shouldn't do, things that you should do, more in the sense of your musicality. I think that's very, very important, especially when it comes to soloing. You should definitely not try new things that you haven't practiced or internalized. You should try to play for the audience and also play with the musicians around you, and definitely have a communication. Just have a conversation when you're playing. Have proper communication with the instrument so people could understand what you're saying, man. That's very important. So I definitely suggest that you watch that video so you can understand a lot of the things even before approaching a solo. Now, there's a couple of things I would suggest when approaching this instrument. It is very different from the congas, and it's, I believe, an instrument that's highly underappreciated, especially with soloing or just playing. There's a lot of things that could be said, and I understand there's not a lot of space here to say it, but believe it or not, there's a lot of space here to say it. So we're gonna try to do it very practical, just certain things that movements or techniques that will help with the soloing, and then we're gonna look at two different tracks, one a little bit more off up tempo, and then another one where it's definitely like a bed for soloing. So we're gonna look at that and just kind of walk through how a solo will look like, just a basic solo would look like. And again, the point is to have a good conversation, to express yourself, to be musical about it, and to understand that there's ways to approach this instrument. So just have that in mind. So a couple things beforehand. I am of course playing sitting down. If you look here, I have my instrument nice, it's kind of tilted towards me, it's in between my legs, and I have full control of the instrument. It's not going anywhere. If I need to adjust, I can. It's not really much of a burden, and it's again something that I had to get used to, and I really love. These are just a couple of exercises that I would definitely just practice and learn before even approaching the instrument. Some I've already shown in this channel, but just to kind of give you some tips. So I would work on since on the macho your main focus is slaps and finger technique, and on the hembra it's more opens or muffs. You have a lot more space there in regards to the space on the head. So think about it as that. So what I try to do is I try to go from finger to open, from open to finger. So if you notice, my non-dominant hand is focusing on the finger, my dominant hand is focusing on the opens. It's regular palm opens here on the hembra. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add now my dominant hand to do fingers along with my non-dominant hand, and vice versa. So I'm going to add my non-dominant hand along with my dominant hand on the hembra. So it's going to sound like this. So if you remember the movement in the beginning, it's so likewise. And then I'll try to flambe that. So again, these are all techniques that are going to help you learn how to navigate from one technique to the next, and it's going to help you just learn kind of going through the motions in a solo. Another quick little exercise that I tend to use on the bongo in the middle of a solo, again, kind of going from the dynamic of something deep sounding like the hembra to a macho, just one hit. So what I do is 4 opens on the hembra, so non-dominant hand, dominant hand, non-dominant hand, dominant hand, with an open nice and cracked right here on the macho. So it's gonna sound like this. And vice versa. So what I will do is then switch it up from macho to hembra, but this time I'm starting with my dominant hand. So it's going to be open with my dominant hand, open, 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 then an open with my dominant hand. On the hembra, again, the macho is finger, the hembra is more palm. And then one of my favorite ones is going from an open with my dominant hand on the hembra, a finger movement right here on the macho with my non-dominant hand, and a close slap with my dominant hand. I love to have fun with that one. So these are all little techniques that I tend to use to help me kind of maneuver with a solo. But yeah, let me put on a track so we can kind of go through the motions on that. So I'm going to use this track again as a framework on how I would approach this solo. And I'm going to kind of stop and go explaining how I would enter, when the climax would be, and as well how I would kind of die down. The track is about 3 minutes. I don't think a solo should be that long. It shouldn't be that long, at least, unless you're like that. But yeah, just kind of work things out, and we're gonna kind of communicate midway as we're going. All right, so at this part, we're gonna try to introduce ourselves, right? So if you notice, I'd use that time to kind of, hey, I'm here, I'm ready to play and kind of show what I'm about to show. And now I'm gonna use that kind of as a way to elevate it and start to introduce more technique. Again, it's at its climax. Now I want to kind of bring it down to where I would grab the bell. Of course the track has a bell, but yeah, what you gonna do? But yeah, I'm gonna try to now bring it down to a closing. yeah, essentially, it would be that, and it's kind of crazy to think about it that way, but that's the exciting part where you're able to build, you're taking your time, and I think the benefit with the bongo is that you have space, like a lot of space that you can use. The instrument is very beautiful in a way that a simple open really says a lot. A close slap really says a lot. A muff and open on the hembra really says a lot. Where I would say on the conga, it has that same value, but you have so much more options. Like I feel like if you especially have 3 drums, you can navigate a lot more. You have more space to say certain things. So you have to use your technique very wisely when approaching a bongo solo. But yeah, let me finish playing this song out just to kind of get the idea. I'm not gonna kind of stop, and then on the next track we're gonna do the same thing just to kind of see that. And also, did you notice the exercises I showed and how I use that in the solo to kind of help me navigate? You know, again, just simple things to help you kind of get through it. So yeah. Alright guys, so for this one's a little bit slower in tempo, but still with a lot of sabor y sazon, you know. But here's what we're gonna do with this one. We're actually going to it's a style that you can use where you're gonna use a reference point to kind of always bring you back, and you're gonna reference it throughout the solo. So you're gonna reference it first, like kind of introduce that reference point in the beginning, then you're gonna use it as well in the middle of your climax, and then as well bringing it back down. So we're gonna see what we come up with. Again, we're gonna be using those little exercises as well and adding a little bit more, but we're gonna see how, if you guys can point it out, and I'm gonna try to call it out, especially how it's gonna help me kind of remind myself and bring myself back into the concept of the solo that I'm trying to do. So yeah, let's see how that's about to sound. It's about to get crazy. That's it. All right, so we're gonna use that. So I would say I'm going in my climax and at that high point, and we're gonna try to use that to navigate down. Again, we're just having some fun here, but the benefit of a reference point is that if at any moment that you feel like you just lost yourself or lost your composure, lost where you were at with the idea, that's the benefit, man. It kind of like reels you back in. Like, hold on, where was I? Let me use the same concept as an introduction, a climax point, or a high point of the solo, and then a conclusion. But then use this as like stepping stones, like to get to where you want to get. And so I personally use that style so much. I probably use it in maybe a little bit too much, but I use it because it helps me. It's like a bed. It allows me to think things through as I try to express myself, especially if I find a reference point that's just simple and just concise, gets to the point. I think that it allows you to be a little bit more expressive. But let's see if we could just play a solo using the same thing, using a different reference point. We're gonna see what comes out. Man, you gotta love it, man. Yeah, take your time with it. Listen to the greats too, man. Listen to how Dandy solos. Listen to how Anthony Carrillo solos. Look how those two people, completely different styles, completely different dynamics, but so flavorful, full of life and full of technique and full of just language, man. There's so much that people do, man, and believe it or not, one of my favorite bongoceros, even though you wouldn't put him as a pure bongocero, but Carl Perazo, man, like the way he approaches the bongo is so classic. It's beautiful. I love it. I'm a huge fan of how he plays, man. But yeah, pay attention to how people build their solos, what they do, how they draw your attention, what they do in the middle, and how they exit their solos. That's very important. How do they kind of bring it all together at the end? But I hope these nice little tips helped you guys and you can get some ideas from it and build from it on your own. But please let me know what you guys think. Take your time, comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm kind of tired. All right, see you guys.